I'm Franklin Muningirua, a third-year radio production student at the College of the Arts. I chose I chose to study radio because of, radio needs people like us. Radio needs our voices, the youth. And studying radio, I chose becoming not really a producer, but a radio journalist.
My name is Ronell Sechogele. I'm a third-year radio student at College of the Arts. I chose radio because I feel that radio needs something new and fresh, and I think I can definitely give that to the radio community. And I think I bring something different to the radio stations as well.
I'm Celma. I'm 22 years old, and I'm a third year at the College of the Arts studying radio production. Now, I'm studying radio production because I think that radio is a great platform of creativity and for people to express themselves. Like radio is not visual, so that takes a lot of energy and creativity and brings more ideas for people to understand you. Like in the sense of you talk but they can't see, but then it takes you on another level to express so that they can get the picture through radio and not television. Like it's not put on their plate, like they have to visualize it and understand. So that takes a lot of creativity and it's a good start.
Well, my name is Marcello Franz and I'm 20 years old, studying radio production at the College of the Arts, and I'm a third-year student. I chose radio because I feel like it's a great platform to, because I'm part of the youth and I just want my voice to be heard and to let my inner grace out.
I'm Janet Kaiuina, 21 years old, radio production student at the College of Arts. And I chose radio because all my life I've always been this shy girl. So radio is a platform for me to express myself and let the true me shine out.
What advantages do you think radio has over television as well as newspapers?
I think that a radio, because radio is radio, like you can't carry a TV around. Radio, you can listen to radio wherever. Yeah, it's widespread, so to say. Yeah, you can listen to radio.
Everyone has access to radio.
Yeah.
With your phone,
You can walk
on
around
TV
and listen
also.
to radio.
Yeah.
Not everybody has money to buy a
newspaper,
newspaper, you
yeah.
understand? Not everybody has access to television or, and like I mentioned earlier in my introduction is that, it's not visual, radio is not visual, but the fact that you can express yourself and carry information out there without any picture, like it's broad, it's wide and people can actually understand without needing newspapers and television. So for me, radio is like a much easier access for everybody to get information.
And the fact that radio, the languages that they use in radio is much more than in television and newspapers, because in Namibia we currently have English, Afrikaans and Oshibambo, but radio you would have Damara, Namachwana, you would have Silozi, you have a lot of people can understand what's going on, like a lot of people have access to what's going on outside if they do not have a television or newspaper to know what's currently going on in our country.
And another advantage would be that
there's also another advantage, the fact that you don't always have newspapers, you don't always have television to hear news, what's going on around the world. But as soon as you tune on the radio, it's like it's being mentioned on every single radio station.
Every hour it's news.
Exactly, and I mean, the fact that you can't afford newspapers every time, radio can be a very, very easy.
Yeah, it's true.
And even if you go visit someone, the radio will be on, or they'll have a radio. So it's cool.
It's like, did you see the newspaper today? No, but I heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
And also with radio, you have like the advantage to actually imagine something. Like all of us, when you listen to a certain presenter, you create this image of this person. Or when somebody is telling a story through radio, you have like the privilege to actually create this
imagination.
You use imagination without actually trying it. It just happens.
It just happens, and you can easily understand what's going on.
Do you think the youth voices are well represented in radio?
I don't think so. I don't think the youth voices are represented well because we only tend to hear, it's about entertainment and or love stories. I mean,
It's the same concept.
Youth, yeah, it's always the same concept. The youth need to be educated. They need some strong concept like a story,
Yeah. Like someone that just represents the youth in a radio station, like someone that just focuses
Like, it's not to say that entertainment is not a good thing for
Yeah.
youth. It is definitely
That's how fun,
like that's
yeah.
how we need to have fun as a youth. But I just feel like growing up, there are so many things that go on in our lives daily and daily, like disappointments, joy, and whatever, like the list goes on. But like we need to strengthen those weaknesses through radio to encourage our youth, with everything that is going on, because it can lead confusion in people's heads, especially when you're young. And I just feel like if we strengthen those weaknesses, like the youth will come out more, and like they'll feel like, okay, people understand what I'm going through, you understand, instead of just like, okay, I'm gonna change my mood because it's entertainment. No, you need encouragement, like through radio, like not only television, not only newspapers, like radio is a perfect platform for people to just see themselves through other people's lives, as long as you can relate, then I believe that, the youth can.
And I also think that the radio stations make the mistake they also make is that they think the youth, just because we're young, we just want to have entertainment, we do, but we also want to know certain stuff, because then you ask a question like, what happened here, then you don't know, because you're just like, okay, this is boring, they should just find a young person to find a fun way to make politics sound fun, but not fun necessarily, but just to make you want to listen, like what happened in the parliament recently and stuff like that. But now they're using, unfortunately, a person that is probably older and whose voice doesn't even make you want to listen. Like you just immediately change to a song, which just makes the concept that youth just want to listen to music the whole time, which I do not think is true.
Just to add on what you said, like I asked my brother this morning, like, do you ever listen to radio? Yeah, I listen to radio because there's music playing on, like just to listen to new songs. But is radio all about music?
Exactly.
They
have lost the whole concept
of
what radio
is. Yeah, but as youngsters, just like Celma said, as youngsters, our life is just not about happiness all the time.
That's what
sometimes we like sad, and like we go through difficult times. Like we need people to like just give us some advice rather than us just like, no, I'm young, and like we ignore like our inner selves. Like we don't have like that platform to actually live out like our fears.
Because to add to that, it's like, like you have to relate to people all over the world. You can't just cater like in the entertainment sector, because unless the listener can understand the setting and the message in whatever you're saying, then only can they understand what is going on.
How can radio better incorporate youth's voices and issues?
If we take the youth more seriously, okay, in terms of radio, like there's so many issues going on in Namibia. They can be cliche, it's so much cliche, I know, baby dumping and stuff like that, violence and everything that's going on. It's so cliche, but I know it is happening, But then if we look deep into it and put it more on radio, like in a sensible way, then I think that we can get the message, and maybe, not maybe, definitely, I think that the voices will be heard, and we should come up, like we can do so many things, like dramas, like through radio, you can play dramas, you can do anything, just what, like in terms of, when you play the drama, it should be of that certain topic, so that people can relate and learn. In that specific drama, you come up with options and solutions, and like step by step, so that people can get the message and just understand what's going through, and maybe the issues can be changed, and the voices will be heard. And so many people can come through on radio and talk about their stories,
And also to add on the voices to be added, I think when we use the youth themselves, to have like news and current affairs, like a kiddies news and current affairs, something on the radio, and that's what MISA is also doing with the children in the media. That's what they want to implement, to use the youth, not only using an adult in place of
like use the youth to capture the youth.
Yeah, you know.
Exactly.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
you know what you like. So obviously, the other person would also like that because you like it because they both in the same category. That's true.
You should involve the youth by hiring them, give them these platforms and jobs. But I once applied at a job and this guy told me like, no, you are too young.
Yeah, they
In my
think that
first
you're
year. Oh my God.
inexperienced, but
Yeah.
you're taking your inexperience. But the fact that we're talking about the youth, you're the youth, and you know what's going on, you know what has been, you know, and everything. So for me, it's like if we use the youth more, you know, at different stages, or we might be inexperienced, but for you to take us in can get us experience, you know, and we have fresh ideas, and just to get away from the bad stuff as well, you know, as long as you have something to do, sometimes it keeps us from doing the wrong thing. You learn in the process. Yeah.
And I think we even find it better that it's better to like do something for yourself than for the youth just to go out, because if they do not get jobs and stuff, it is better they just feel like, okay, so they aren't doing anything, then they start drinking and stuff, and then they just divert from what they actually wanted. So I think the youth should be given an opportunity to get established in such platforms.
But I think like why the youth is like somehow excluded from all these things because of the stereotypes you've created all the time. Like you said when you talked about entertainment and stuff like that, like the youth at times they're afraid to like actually come out the radio stations because like if like let me say for instance if you don't go out and stuff like that, or
they don't go out.
To that point, I don't think they are afraid. I think they're just locked down. I think they're just their doors are just
like
shut down.
Limit.
Yeah, and they are not really given this platform or this opportunity to do what they want to do. That's why they give up hope. That's why, as Ronell said, they go out there using drug uses,
and they use that to escape.
Yes.
Keep in mind, they use that to escape when we can do something to keep them going.
But I think it's not mostly about like escaping something, because like nowadays you don't smoke weed, you're not cool. So like
that's why we say people are different. You know, you can use that as an excuse, and I can use this as a different excuse, you know. But with radio, knowing that there's so many things, like different information and solutions to what can be done for you to be okay.
But they're not spoken of.
But it's not. I think that it's limited on radio. Some people are scared to talk about sex. But it's something that's happening in our youth anyway. People, as kids, 13 years old, are doing it. They have babies, you know. It's there. So that's why I'm saying that radio is so much limited that people cannot really talk about things that are really going on and just focus on one specific thing, like entertainment. But like you're entertaining, through that entertainment, people smoke, people drink, people have sex. You understand? So what's the difference? Like through entertainment, you're encouraging something negative, while you can use that. Like on the other hand, you can do something that will better the people's lives.
And with this, parents that are not talking to the children about sex, radio, there should be a platform for us to be able to ask questions like, what's this? What's a condom? How do you use a condom? Stuff like that. Because now the child is pregnant, but you haven't spoken to your child about no use contraceptives. If you're thinking about having sex, come to me. I'm your mother. Talk to me. They don't have that, and we should have that platform on radio. Because if they can talk about it on TV,
radio, we talk. That's what we do. We talk. You know, so carry out the right information in the right manner without, you don't always have to be vulgar. Just use the right words, and I believe that people will understand it.
Yeah,
and I think with like bringing out topics like that, like let me say for instance sex, it becomes difficult for radio as well, because the other day I was listening to a show. It's about STDs and stuff like that. People were calling in and like, why are you guys talking about stuff like that?
I think that's
definitely and that's what I'm saying. It's limited. That makes people on radio to be.
I think that like it's about the community, like the mentality they have towards. And I think the better thing to do is like maybe educate.
But with that being said, they complain about people talking about sex on radio. what about the songs that they play on radio? They have sexy, man. They're swearing in the songs. I mean, they're encouraging what people do in bed. You understand? So what's the difference about people talking about sex and you listening to a song that's talking about sex?
I guess like through music it's all cool.
People are ignorant, people are naive, but I think that through radio, I honestly, if talking could be a strong, it can really be a strong point if like people in radio can really just communicate and like just strengthen these weaknesses just to carry out the right information to the communities.
Yeah. I think by they can also do it by blending entertainment and education. Yeah, more often because we only hear entertainment and education separately. You know, that's maybe the one concept that they
and it's just like education is just like one program.
Yeah, one program.
Like in once a week or once in a month.
Yeah.
You understand?
But I think the reason why that is because
that's like a
they
setback.
see that their ratings go down when it's an educational program. That that's where they should blend education and entertainment to make you want to listen. And while you're listening, then you're learning without knowing that you're learning. It should be a bonus to us.
Yeah, and coming in more with magazine programs, documentaries, because we only hear the calling shows,
SMS lines,
what is that?
and stuff. It's true.
And I think that the fact that there's so many weaknesses in radio is that we use the same people over and over and over, using that excuse of people not being experienced enough. But I think that as a young person, you know, you've gone through certain stages in your life as well that you can talk to like in radio and people can relate to it. You understand? That will cater a lot of audience to participate and I'm sure that people will take up something to go within their lives, learning from other people's experiences as well.
Okay. Do you think that women have equal opportunities to work in a radio station?
No. No, because I don't know of
I think it's a fair
girls
situation.
that are producers out there, but most of these girls are only presenters. Like they only hire girls who are to present this. But producers only guys. Like I don't know, do you guys know of any girls?
Stereotypical once again, like she said, they feel that maybe guys don't cater a whole lot of audiences and the girls would. But then again, in the guys' mind, from a guy's perspective, I'm not a guy, but I'm just saying, they will also think that if a girl is a presenter, they'll cater more guys' audience. So for me, it's like a fair situation. It's true, we don't have a lot of guys that are, ladies who are producers and stuff like this because of the idea that means that guys have much more experience or like they understand more or they exactly because of that. But then in the real world, I think that it's a fair situation because everybody went through a certain thing and the other went through a certain thing. In the end, they have something to put on the table, you know.
And also, and also putting, ladies having or gaining these opportunities. I think they. How can I put it? I think they are used as more often sex women in this, especially in this radio production. Managers use these ladies because that's why you won't see or find a girl from UNAM or from the College of the Arts more often in these radio stations. You will only find someone who studied accounting or someone who studied business, admin.
Radio is so neglected. It's true.
It is.
In Namibia.
That's what I wanted to say, that the ladies are only used as presenters because of their voices, and like when you hear a presenter's voice, you're just like, oh my god, she probably looks like this. So you just like, okay, fine, I'm listening to this girl show, and she's good and stuff like that. And normally it would be an entertainment show. So I don't think they want girls to, or not once. I don't think the girls think that they have to be producers because then you won't have the fame of being a DJ, which is not even a DJ, which is a presenter. And so the girls just want to have that fame, like you see them, oh my god, that's who and stuff. The producer does not have that fame of like, you produced it, but it's not acknowledged that you did this. It's just that this presenter did that, so like this one produced it and he did everything on it, but then it's the producer. So I think the girls are just probably after that as well.
Or maybe the girls don't think they're good enough to become producers because like at times as women we look down on ourselves but not knowing how capable we are. Like at most time we give the opportunities to we just without knowing we just give it out to men because we feel that we are not good enough or something
Confident
like that.
enough,
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have that confidence because all the years, like men have been like the dominant ones. They have been like taking over everything. So as women, we are maybe afraid and we feel that men are superior than us. Maybe that could be
One of
the issue.
reasons.
Yeah.
What do you think are the
Sorry,
strengths?
just on that, I mean, how do you guys feel as women that you're going into an industry that you think is really sexist and wants to limit your opportunity?
I wanted to say that hopefully the ladies that are the women that are studying radio production will have the confidence and ability to go into radio. Because when I started studying radio, I just wanted to be a presenter. That's all I wanted. But now I want to produce shows because the process I've been through, the fact that I can bring across other people's voices, like other ideas, fresh stuff to the radio stations. That's what's making me hope that ladies would have the confidence in themselves to be producers and not presenters and run after the fame at the end of the day. Because I think producers are they have a lot of work to do, and I think it will be better. You don't really have to go after the fame. So hopefully, us ladies in the radio production, third year, hopefully we'll just you guys will become producers and not presenters.
Yeah. And we need to advocate to women, give the women the voices they need, because women we're just in a bubble, we're just afraid to go out there. I think advocacy will be the best thing to bring women up front. And
They probably scared that women will run the world.
no, but then there are some men who say that women are pathetic and that they want to take over. They should just understand the fact that they're they're beneath the men or something.
But so far, I think that we are getting a lot of women in the industry lately.
As presenters.
As not only as presenters, though, but from our experience as a third-year student at College of the Arts, my course, I've learned how to produce, to write scripts, I've learned how to present, I the whole package to set up to do this. So if given the opportunity, it's I feel like I can do it. You understand? Not the fact that I'm not experienced, but the fact that I've done it before at school.
It's we're one band radio station.
It's we can do it out there as well. It's they have to believe. You have to do something for them to believe that I can actually do it. You have to change that mentality, the stereotypical of woman not capable of doing something.
What do you guys think are the strengths of radio in Namibia?
Strengths basically that we can cater to people.
That it's it's accessible. Is that the right word? Yeah. It can be accessed at any time, any place, I think. Not I think it is.
Seeing that we have so many weaknesses, it's it overpowers the strengths in radio in Namibia. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's like that.
We have more really
weaknesses than
strengths
strengths
in
in
Namibia.
Namibia.
I mean the radio.
Yeah, but hopefully, there are a lot, checking at the College of the Arts, there are a lot of radio students, a lot of children, students that want to do radio production. So hopefully they'll improve the weaknesses and we'll have more strengths, in a few years, more strengths than we have weaknesses.
With so many, it's not only the College of the Arts, UNAM students, so many out there, even if they do, if you're put together, it's a bunch, a bunch group of people, of women that can actually cater for, just to strengthen the weaknesses in radio, coming up with so many ideas, you understand, to just change the views on radio, or about radio.
What changes do you guys foresee happening in radio over the next 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully more girls, ladies as producers, because I feel like ladies, you guys are so capable. I see what you guys are doing every day, and I know your capabilities. So, yeah, more ladies in the industry as producers.
Or more educational stuff but blended in with
more youth involvement as
Yes.
So rather than bringing in experts like older people, you can bring in people who have left through that experience and let them
Not to
share
say
their
that
stories.
not to say that it's wrong for old people to be in the
No,
industry.
it's because of them that we want to be there because we see what they've been doing. Yeah.
But for them to give us a chance.
A chance to
put
come
out our
and create
ideas
some
out
work.
there. Yeah, I do. I think I'd like radio to be more open-minded to ideas and concepts that the youth would like for them to like talk about on radio, that would be very nice.
I also feel like it's easy for people to get into radio presenters in Namibia.
Yeah.
It's just like a strong process to go through before you get the job.
Yeah, like just don't get it because you know someone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. But that's the one more thing. Are there a lot of young people working in radio stations in Namibia? Oh well, I don't think
I
so.
just
Like
think-
Selma said, they used the same people like over and over again. So, and those people were like 21 back then when they started. And that's like when most of these radios started, they were like 21 when these presenters. Now they're like 30. And these people are now old, so they need to like hire us like a job. So yeah.
Yeah, then
I feel like,
hopefully,
no.
hopefully radio will be taken more seriously. Because I don't think it's really taken that seriously in Namibia because it's not visual. Like, I'm just stuck up on this because I know it happens so much because people always concentrate on newspapers or television because they can see what's happening. But the fact that we can, like, radio can, like, we can see so many things on radio, you understand? Even if they don't see the picture, like, we put so much effort in it for them just to understand what's really going on radio. Hopefully it can be taken seriously.
Yeah, like we
as a-
make it look like simple, but it's actually it's a complex process for you to produce a whole program.
And sometimes you go on air and you'll be like, will they take me seriously? What am I going to say? How am I going to project my voice? You know, you think of all of those stuff and it's just so people can actually hear you and hear what you're actually saying or understand it.
Or maybe we need to change our mentalities as young people because like we just stuck up on
Fake.
yeah.
On
That's all.
fake English.
Exactly. You have
Trying
to
to
be
be
your
someone
true
that's
self.
not-
Exactly.
Yeah, you must be
have
your true
to-
self.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Say what you mean to say at the end of the word. Just don't insult anybody.
And like we're trying to be like Beyonce, she's so cool.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you lose your identity.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's true. I'm trying to
It's
be
like
someone else.
you're a brand, and when you're really, it's like you're a brand. You know, people will follow you in your programs daily, what you do in, like, you know, you have to be a brand. So at the end of the day, it's like you have to respect who you are. You have to be true to yourself, not compare yourself to other people, and be your own identity.
Yeah, and you're carrying a radio station going.
Exactly.
So it should be a good image you're portraying. Thank
That's
you,
it.
guys.
So there are a lot of young people currently working in radio stations in Namibia.
Yeah, you just.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Dr. Dean,
Okay, so we answer that again. Okay. Are there a lot of young people currently working in radio stations in Namibia? If so, what is in what capacity? Example, presenter, producer,
No.
scriptwriter.
Definitely, we don't have a lot of young people in radio. Honestly, what is young?
I disagree.
Exactly.
So-
Like, wait, what is young? If we're talking about the youth, how many young people
24.
are in the industry in radio in
But if you take
Namibia?
as youth, what do you take?
Exactly.
What do you take
What
as
is
youth?
what do you think is youth?
Probably 18, 17 to what, 26.
Are there a lot of young people
18
in
to 24,
radio?
yeah.
I
It's
think
so-
the majority, like when I listen to radio, it's young voices.
There is
No, it's just in your head.
No, but I do agree, it's true.
but
Like,
that is
it's
only.
it's
But
young
I don't
people
think it's in a community radio station.
in
I
a
don't think
commercial
it's a
radio station.
commercial radio station.
Young people.
That is, which their aim is just to make money. So of course that is an advantage for them to use young people maybe. But then again, I don't think so. And those young people are presenters, not producers. You understand?
Like how do you know if your presenter wasn't like a young person because you can't see the producer?
Exactly.
The commercials are only having presenters as
No, but I understand where
but-
Janet is coming from because when you listen to the voices, it sounds like young
Yeah.
people. And I think it is base, fresh, they have young people. Radio Wave 99 also is a lot of young people.
National.
Wave has older people. I listen to Wave unfortunately a lot, but it is older people and it's a commercial station. They're only there to make money. So the content they bring out is to make money, and they have producers. Their producers make sure that their programs run smooth. Some radio stations, these young people that sound so inexperienced and stuff, do not have producers who can put out a script for them and be like, okay, this is your guideline, this is what you're going to do and stuff like that. So I think it has to be balanced. Like they should, if there's a presenter, he or she should have a producer. Doesn't matter whether he's young or old.
And the fact that it's a commercial radio station and its aim is just to make money, they're very smart, entertainment. So they use young their voices sounds young on radio, so but then it's like to capture the youth, to listen to them and just make money.
And
what is the message behind them?
Yes.
What exactly is the message behind
capturing the youth, but what is the message?
But how are they capturing the youth? Why can't communities
They're capturing the youth with music.
Okay, we're not only on commercial, we're not only on commercial, on community as well. And the question was, are the young people in Namibia, in radio stations in Namibia, is so in what capacity presenter or producers? Being realistic, I listen to national. I don't hear any youth, any young persons, talking, or 99 it's here and there, you understand, radio wave, hardly young people, you understand. So mean like the youth is not really given that platform to be experienced or to give out what they really need to give out to other people, to other young people out there, because we are limited. They think that we're not experienced enough to give out the relevant.
I think it's commercial and community, because
community
would be like, no, let's just take someone to present. Commercial would look at your experience and the stuff you do. That's how how they capture people. Why would you listen to there is community based and commercial based? Why would you choose commercial? Because they have fun stuff and they educate. When I listen to Radio Wave, I honestly learned something. I didn't know about the plane that landed in Okanja, between Okanja and Windhoek, but because of them I didn't hear it on any of the commercial radio stations. So I think it's like they just have to think of how do they capture the people, because it's not all music on commercial radio stations like it is on community radio stations.
Let me say 99%. 99%.
It's entertainment. It's just.
But on national, on national, you see, it's not a lot of young people that are on national. In what they cater out there. Do you really think that a young person will tune in on national and just tune on national, stay tuned on national, and listen to what the people are saying? I think that if they use a younger person with an educational program, I think that a young person will be able to sit there and relate and listen to what people are saying. But no, there are hardly young people in Namibia on radio that are being used out there to just carry out the voice.
But what could be the problem is because most of the young presenters,
they are scared to take risks. They don't want to. It's a risk hiring someone that's young and don't have the experience.
No, they want to be cool. They want to sound like the Americans or something like that.
And the only
it's true.
When it comes to the youth being presented or presenting on air, it's only when they are on voiceovers, like advertisements. That's when you Vox Pops. It's only when you hear this for youth.
But there's so many packages that we can use of radio formats that we can use, montages, documentary, radio dramas, so much that we can just use, or reports, we can use young people to do it. It's not a limit for older people, no, that's not what I'm saying, but I feel, since this is about the youth, I just feel like if they use the youth more, I think that the youth can relate, and they can also believe in themselves, and just take a step forward and just get comfortable and just talk to the world as well, and everybody else will be able to relate, and just take into consideration other people's experiences, and learn from there.
But one question is when you listen to radio, not that I'm saying that I'm against, but then I listen to radio sometimes. But then the things that you talk about, is it relevant or something? I think that's the problem. That's why the managers or whatever people hire older people, because they know what they're talking about. Some people go on air, you talk about. You don't even understand.
That answers you. Some people go on air and then they just talk. It's because they are not educated. They don't know what they do. They are not like us who have been sitting there for 3 years.
But I think when it comes down to a producer, if I don't know what's going on, but I want to produce my own show.
Produce my own show. You want to produce your own program, but you have enough information to go out.
That's why
what if there are some smart people out there, like your listeners are very smart, they'll ask you a question and you're like, what the?
That's where we should produce.
Yeah, that's where we come in as
it's a radio student.
It's now they choose
a strategic
And what I also don't get is that they choose someone from I don't know, from wherever.
I just think that
I graduated, I have this diploma, I have this paper, and I want to do an internship. My door is blocked, you are not getting this internship. But then someone from Linkwa or someone from, I don't know, someone who doesn't have a media paper is going to sit in the
big doors.
Yeah, in the studio. She's on A or he's on A. How come?
Managers do that. But I also think that managers have, or just people that will hire you, have this in radio, they have this mentality that no, the youth is messed up. You understand? And with that mentality, they just feel like, nah, she's just gonna mess up the whole thing.
Is it their mentality or is it the truth? Because
is it everybody that is messed up?
Everybody.
Because from my experience, I've seen a lot of youth presenters. They you're presenting a show and you come 2 minutes before the show. That's it.
They wouldn't want that.
I think it's lack of commitment, or you're just used.
But that can also happen. That's not only with the youth. That's not only with the youth. That can also happen with all the people.
Majority is.
Yeah, we have to kill the stereotypical mentality.
Yeah.
So overall, I just think that radio is a very, very great platform for people to really express themselves out there.
And that the youth should also be allowed to exploit.
Radio is life.
It's everything.
Mm-hmm.